Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to my friends and family of Creativerse. This is Icy, and this is just a quick video that I wanted to make for the community of Sloppy's server with regards to this place. Many of you already recognize it, especially the members of the server. So this is the community bank. So I've been getting a lot of questions as to how this place works, how they can take things from here, and what are the rules of this place. So this is the quick video that I wanted to make to hopefully solve the different confusion related to the place. So this is just a quick overview of what the bank looks like. It's an ongoing project for many months. So as you walk in the door, you're welcomed with this greeting message. So our dearest customer, every player will have their own name shown there. In my case, obviously it's Icy. So welcome to the community bank. Here you can enjoy resources others have prepared for you and for our other customers. But please donate to our cause by also giving some of your resources for players in need. So what this means is that this is basically a community storage, and here we just support each other by donating and taking items when we need. And there's several methods of donating. One of them would be this chest here, so please donate to our cause, and then you can donate all kinds of things. So let's go through the bank itself. So this will be like the reception area, you can call it. So this is where you would walk in, the main door. To go to the peak of the tree, you would go through this teleporter. So here you can enjoy the lovely view from here. But let's get back down. This is the wall of fame. So here if you have, I don't know, so if you donate a certain resource in a large quantity, your name will go on here. So right now we have 2 names up. But let's go to the actual crossroad. So this is the vault crossroad. Here at the moment there's only 4 teleporters. I plan on putting in more as the bank progresses with the different rooms and categories of items. So right now there's 4 teleporters, but of course one of them is dedicated for the exit. So there's one will be the community builds. There's a forge. I'll explain that one later. And then there's upstairs, which will take us into the storage area. So the community builds, I have prepared a small, this will improve, but at the moment this small room which I have kind of like set up these little presentations for the different community projects we have built as a community on the server. So here you will have the medieval, the Christmas villages, the modern, the Halloween, and dedicated chests for each of the different themes. Back on the crossroads, so the forge itself, so I can actually remove the work in progress, but the forges, it was a popular demand. Look, asked me if I can put in just a series of forges and processors, so they can, in case if they need to do things on the spot quickly, they have access to both types. I did not put in any cooking stations because there isn't that much of a demand. So if their demand will show, then I will put in some of those in that room as well. But let's head over to the upstairs. Now the upstairs leads us to another junction. So the vault crossroad, this is where we have all the teleporters, community builds. So this is where we were a minute ago. This is the main storage, and then here we will have future expansions in case if the bank needs any. Here in the community section, so we were just in here, but if you continue on this corridor, there is actually a teleporter here at the very end, which I have displayed the icons or the sprites of the items that use the combination to get here. You can use, so if people in their personal bases wish to sync up their own personal teleporter to travel to here, feel free to use that combination, and then you will spawn in here as you travel in. Do not worry, this here is made from invisible, I don't know what this glitch is, but it's made from invisible blocks, so you can easily walk up and down. But let's get back to the main storage. So at the moment, as it stands, the main storage is divided into two separate rooms. One I have called the common items, and then the other is a bulk storage area, which I will explain in a few minutes. So the common items, here you can find the most common items used by people. So crafting items, and then each of those chests would be would have their own categories. I have both icons on the chest to show what's in them, but also the names of the chests. So for example, here we have the ingots, here we have the ores, slabs, rods, the edibles, the mob drops, so they're the different kinds of mob drops, flowers and seeds, but that would include all kinds of crops, which would also include cactus and queen bees. Now this shouldn't be here, that should be elsewhere, and seeds as well. And crafting essentials, so that would be the coal and the corrupted stuff, the arc stones, the gunpowder, these sort of things. Here you want to have something that a lot of people are confused by, the icons. So a nice way that I have it set up is, so the big icon all over the chest describes the gist of what is in the whole column of items. So for example, here we have a big torch, a big lamppost. So in this column of chest, you can expect lamps, a bomb, obviously explosives, machinery, potions, slime, liquids, stones, and woods. Then each chest would have a subcategory. So for example, here in the top chest, under the lighting, we have frequently used lamps, specific project lamps, so which is why so specific themes, and then premium lamps. And then same thing for bombs, so excavators, extractors, and then explosives, machinery, adventure type machinery, and then beacons, potions, liquids. Yeah, now this is what was a personal request by one of the admins. So here we have goo. Yeah, self-explanatory. I know it should be in the mob drop as well. It wasn't there for quite some time until I had the request to get a lot of it. So here we have nearly a full chest of the goo itself, but I have a few stacks of mold here as well, which you can convert into, I believe it's six goo each. Just a bit of server lag, give me a moment. Yeah, so one mold creates 6 globs of goo, which means that this is a lot of goo. Then the liquid stones and types of wood. Now these two, what I did is, so the top chest is the actual types of stones and woods, then stone and wood blocks that you can craft from said stones and woods, and then slabs and stairs that you can craft from them as well. Now let's get into the bulk storage area. So here, do not be worried, just like in other rooms we have an invisible floor. Then we have this drop platform that I got creative with. Don't ask, I'm not sure either. Here we have a couple of chests. Now I don't have anything in those chests yet. If there is anything you would recommend that I put in there, do feel free to either send me a message or comment on the video, up to you. But feel free to give a suggestion. I will obviously then put a sprite showing what's in the box and label the box accordingly. So we have 4 brown ones in the corners and then those couple in the middle. Here, this is the reason why this is called the bulk storage, is because I have dedicated this area for items that you tend to have a lot of, you would want to have a lot of quantity in one go. So for example, if you have a big wooden project, I dedicated 4 chests, so that, well, hopefully the end goal is that there will be 4 full chests of wood, leaves, corrupted stuff. Now this one I would have divided into sections. So corrupted wood, and then corrupted dirt and stone, then water, dirt, and these sort of stones. Obviously, a lot of people often need a lot of coal for big projects, so, and these others as well. These would be, so these 3 specific, I have, and I have mentioned it before to some of the people asking. When you donate one of those 3, so armor sets, weaponry, or so mining cells, please, if you do donate, just donate Lumite here. because there is no need for us to hoard onto the lower tier items. We don't need 10 stacks of or 10 chests worth of obsidian armor. There's just no point of it. So each of those chests, so that would be, let's say, the armor, the legs, the different so the arm guards, the pauldrons, the leggings, yeah. So swords, I've made a little so same thing for Lumite cells and Lumite armor, so just stick to the Lumite here. Now for swords I changed it up a bit. Only 2 chests are dedicated for Lumite swords. The other 2 I have dedicated for legendary golden swords. Now if you do donate, please donate the legendary ones, the beta golden swords, and the other one would be the Rainbow Nator, the Rainbow Nator 5000. The reason why I ask for these 2 swords specifically is because they are on par when it comes to tier and damage with the Lumite swords. So they are, even though they are 3 different types of swords, they are all equal when it comes to tier and damage, which is why I decided to give them the equal, which is why I gave them the space in the bank, because they all deserve the spotlight. Obviously a lot of people like the Lumites, some like the Rainbow Nators, and so some like the Golden Sword. I will be a Golden Sword fan myself. This room over there is the forge, so we've already been here. So it's all connected through corridors and stuff. I've made a couple of extra rooms, so this will be a good example. So there will be future expansions. Obviously, even this bulk storage obviously does not cover every item in the block. In the game there will be more, and these other rooms will provide the accessibility for such. So I have one here and then one downstairs. So this would be the actual overview of what the bank. So see, invisible floor, and the crossroad itself also has another invisible floor. You don't have to worry about falling. And then in the exit, so in the reception, this will be the initial invisible floor that most people would see upon entry. So this would be the general overview of the bank. Now I will go into the next section, which is to walk you through the different guidelines as to how we work here in the bank. So welcome to the area of the rules and regulations. Well, I would call them more guidelines rather than rules, because obviously you have, I won't be supervising everybody all the time, but it's something to keep in mind, because this is something for the community and not just for the individual person to keep. So the most important rule that we try to hold on to here is the griefing. So obviously nobody likes griefers on any server, and that would include even on public storage areas. So we don't want people to grief. So the whole purpose of the bank is, if let's say for example I had at one point, obviously this was another few stacks of coal. So I donated my excess coal, and then somebody might come in and they might say, okay, I need to take 100 pieces of coal to craft whatever for my project, for a project. Feel free to take 100. If you need 100, feel free. If you need a stack, feel free to take a stack. If you need 3 stacks, but the keyword is need, feel free to take. If you come into the bank with the notion saying, okay, I need, I might as well drop these. So I need 50 pieces of twine, but in the future I might need another 850. So you know what, I might as well just take the whole thing, and then spares me the coming back and forth. That's the thing we want to avoid. We do not want, in the meantime, before you will need those 800 whatever pieces of twine, somebody else might need it. So this is why this is the purpose of the bank. We are here for people in need, not in want. It's the same thing. So for example, the request from the admin to get the goo, he needed a few stacks. I brought him a good few stacks. Why? Because he needed a lot, he used a few. See, so I had this chest filled up, so he did take a few. Some other players probably took some as well, but they needed it. They didn't take it because they wanted to take everything. If you need, so for example, here we have just under 19 full stacks of lava. If you need 10 stacks to cover the whole world, feel free to do so. That is another issue that is worthy of Sloppy's involvement or the admin's involvement. But if you need 10 stacks of lava, feel free to take some. But you don't need to take all 20 at once, because in the future you might need another 10 stacks. So that's the sort of thing that we don't want people. If you need, feel free to take as many as you need, but don't take everything, because some other people might need. A very good example here would be excavators. One would say that this is a lot of excavators. I might need 10. I might need 20. I might need 293, but I don't need 1,500. That is such a rare thing that, or such an impossible thing that for me to need 1,500 excavators at once, that it's definitely never gonna happen. So if you need, feel free to take, but if you want, I suggest you think of the other players that might need, especially since, you know, a lot of those items is a lot of hard work, a lot of grinding for other players to get, and you don't want to grief their hard work, especially if they do it voluntarily for everybody on the server. Same thing with here. I have, for example, this chest with a lot of Lumite cells. My cell might break down. In fact, how far is mine for break now? It's a good bit away. But let's say my cell breaks down. I come over, I take a cell. Feel free to do so. I do not need 10 cells at once, because eventually this cell will break, and the cell after that will break, and the cell after that will break. No, I only need one. If I need more, I can always come back. So this would be rule number 1. Another rule would be don't ask for building permissions. I know a lot of people do want to help with the project, and I do appreciate the offer, but I would like to build this on my own. Now, admins and obviously Sloppy, you do have permissions. I have specifically made all the admins and Sloppy. I gave you building permissions. In case, if let's say if I'm my long-term absence, or if anything happens, you do have access to this place, and there is somebody other than me that is able to control the bank. But don't ask for permissions, because you will not, unlike normal players, don't ask for permissions because you will not get it. Which then brings us, so that's the quickest rule. The biggest rule is the griefing one. The rest of them are short enough. Another rule would be don't power smash. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because most of the bank is made out of leaves, as you can see here. Now, leaves are very fragile when it comes to contact with power smash. When you use a power smash, you will break leaves. So I'll just take 2 pieces of 2 leaves here. I will put them in the middle of the window. Obviously, the window is safe, but if I use a power smash now, those 2 leaves will disappear. If you do a power smash right here in the middle, you are falling all the way down there. And we don't want people worried that, oh, there's a hole in the ground. We don't want that. So please do not use power smash. If you do feel like killing all the leafies or any of the other mobs that do spawn here, use your sword, but please don't use power smash, because you will not be able to fix the damage. Somebody else will have to fix your own mess. And because obviously you do not have the permissions, like I said, you will not get the building permissions, you will not be able to fix your own mess. Another guideline when it comes to donations. Now the donations, I kind of broke into 2 sections. One is the locations where you can donate. So I showed you the chest in the reception, so you can always donate the items into that chest. If you want, that is fully up to you, because I do sort out that chest when I get the chance. So it's up to you, but if you wish, if you know, let's say if I want to donate some arc stones, I know where that chest is, and you can do the same. If you want, you can come up here and you can dump it straight into the chest. So there's already a few here. But if you do not want, you can always leave it in the chest below. And then another thing, so you can put into there's basically three methods of donating. So either the chest in the reception, or the individual chests in the rooms and the storages. Sorry. Or you can always give it to me directly. If I'm on, you can always pop in the chat saying, I see I got some items, do you want to take them? I can always take them directly, and I will drop them off manually here into the bank, and I would then put into the allocated storage. Now the other section that I said, the other half of the donations, is asking if a certain item is needed. Now this is a difficult one, because a lot of people have asked, okay, we have all this goo here, and a lot of people might say, okay, there's so many stacks of goo, we don't need any more goo. Now my response to that is, all the resources are always welcome. There are tiers of items. So for example, like I mentioned with the armor and the weaponry, the low tier weapons are not needed, obviously, but all the items are welcome. If there is items that, for example, at the moment do not have an allocated storage, I put them into a temporary chest, and I have chests set aside for that. But I will put them into temporary chests, and then whenever there will be, if there will be an allocated area for that item, I will always put it in. This was a big problem in the beginning for the Christmas bundles, because when we had the 2019 Christmas, they gave away the bundles for free, as many as you wanted to claim, and that obviously gave a big storage demand for a lot of the items. So one day I came into the bank, and the chest at the bottom was filled with one type of an item of the Christmas bundle stuff. So all items are welcome until there is a permanent dedicated storage made for that particular item. I do have a place set aside for items. Now at the moment, I would be using some of those chests, and if not those chests, then in my base I do have an area dedicated for the bank. Sorry, not used to the talking. So yeah, so there is allocated. Now obviously there will be items that I will be scrapping if you donate into the bank. So for example, if all of a sudden I come into the bank and the chest and the reception is filled with obsidian armor and weapon and that stuff, I am dumping it straight away, because like I said, there is no plan to keep onto those things, unless in the future they will implement some sort of salvaging mechanic. Then we will think about setting up an area like that. But until then, I have set 4 chests for recipes, and the torn journals, and so this one would be for the journals, and then that one would be for chips. So you can donate those if you wish. Obviously it is scrap items, but if you wish to donate, I do have allocated space for them. So yep, I believe this is now this will be the last that was pretty much the last rule I wrote on the piece of paper that I prepared. If there's any more, I might give an update. If you have any questions, always feel free to ask me either in Discord or in game, so do feel free to ask, and I will be happy to explain anything that was not explained in this video. So yep, let's go back to the front door. So thank you very much for watching. If you were able to stick this far, then I am very proud of you, and you should be proud of yourself, because I do have a very boring voice. But thank you very much for watching this video. Hopefully it did clear up at least most of the different questions that you might have had. Like I said, if you have any more questions, do feel free to ask. I am here, at least for the time being. But yeah, thank you very much, and leave a like if you liked it. Do comment on the video if you have any more questions, and I will see you either here in game or in the next video. So bye.